Welcome back to the lounge. I'm Balanced. So I really like to give a warm appreciation to everybody who came out and checked out my narcissist video. That video by far was my best video, numbers wise, interaction, and I really appreciate that. So I think I'm gonna kind of continue that trend with that. And so I got 5 things that I want to talk about that I did some research on and that I've experienced in some form or another in certain relationships that could be narcissism. You know, I think that, like I said in my last video, I think that we all have narcissistic traits, but I think the thing that separates a true narcissist from a person that has the traits is, how do you hold yourself accountable? Are you trying to change? Can you admit to a person when you were wrong, when you made a person feel wrong? Can you try to make it better with that person? And I mean genuinely try to make it better. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the need for admiration, excessive need for admiration. And what that looks like in a narcissist is someone who will excessively talk about themselves, only about what they're doing, not really interested in what you're doing, want praise, want you to, like, you know, make them feel good, and at the same time will not return that favor. So that's one thing. You have to look out for the need for excessive admiration. Now the second thing that I want to talk to you about is the lack of empathy, and I feel that this is kind of a big thing for me, was the lack of empathy that I felt that I was receiving. No matter how much I hurt, no matter how much I need something in a couple of my relationships, I never felt that empathy where someone would just pull me in and let me know that things was gonna be all right and truly was there for me in the way that I needed. So that's another thing to look out for, is the lack of empathy. Someone who can hurt someone and basically, you know, be proud of the way that they hurt that person and kind of, you know, have a cycle of doing this to people. Manipulation and control. Now this one is, I think, a little bit harder for people to recognize, because manipulation comes from a soft place. You know, generally it comes from a place of where you are being coerced into feeling a certain way, and you know, a person will say, hey, well, do this, but why don't you do this for me whilst you're doing that, or something like that. I'm gonna do this and you can do this for me, and you know, things like that are kind of, you know, make, you know, mention things that they want done and kind of just throw it out there and just hope someone bites for it. Now I'm the type of person that used to bite for this shit, you know, because I love the person or whatever. So they would, you know, just say they needed something or that they wanted something. And to a certain extent, if I'm dealing with somebody, I still will, you know, if there's a need, I still do that. But I think that once it becomes a pattern of them constantly throwing things out and you not getting nothing in return. So with all of these things, I want you to take it with a grain of salt if someone is actually doing things in return for you, the same things that they're asking for. That's basically a healthy relationship. If they're asking for something, if they're asking for understanding, if they're asking for communication, and they're open to doing it and understanding that sometimes they're going to be in the wrong and you're going to be in the wrong, I think that that's healthy. But if you're just constantly getting these clues from somebody who wants you to do something or wants something from you, that's something that you really need to watch out for. So with manipulation comes control, of course, because the manipulation is to control you into doing what they want. Now, some control is more blatant, you know, where they will put out that they need you to do this, and if you don't do it, then, you know, they won't do this for you, or you'll start lacking, they'll start lacking in the areas that you need them, and they'll kind of let you know that. So the other thing is gaslighting. So with gaslighting, this was something that I didn't understand for a long time when people would say this word, because the word to me just didn't make sense. But gaslighting, and I think that, you know, from what I gathered from a lot of my old relationships, I think I may have had some gaslighting in me where I made people feel like I was gaslighting them. Like, and but to me, I don't really feel that way because I never wanted someone to feel crazy. I think we would just hear conversations different, and I would, I guess, feel gaslit, but they would make sure that they knew that I was gaslighting them or something, because it was almost like I didn't hear you say that, or things weren't coming out the same. So I think with the gaslighting, you have to take your own experiences and not let someone change that. And sometimes you guys have to agree to disagree, and it may not be intentional gaslighting, but who knows? Some people may practice that. I don't believe that I did that, but like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not here to say that I was perfect or that I am perfect. I'm working on myself, and so should everybody else. So with the gaslighting, is still something that I kind of don't really understand, and what makes like true gaslighting over just just simple misunderstandings. So, and the last thing, which I've okay, I won't say I've never been jealous, but I'm not a really jealous person. So this is basically saying intense jealousy, and this is like where you can't do anything without a person. You can't wear certain things. You can't go certain places. They don't want this, and it comes out in an unhealthy way. Now, there is a healthy jealousy. Of course, I don't want my woman being in certain spots or this or that, and I do get a feeling, but my thought has always been that if that person can be taken from me, or something like by another person, that's probably the best place for them, because I don't want to have to monitor everything. Now, when trust was broken in my relationships, and I did get jealous. I did get a little jealous and want to know where a person was at, and certain things of that nature, but I never would show up somewhere and where they are, things like that. So I think those are the 5 things that are really connected to the narcissist traits, beyond the other thing, as far as how they actually act in, whether they're the grandiose or, the one that needs a little more help expressing themselves. But one thing that I did want to put out there, and this is something that I thought about the other day, and it's that a lot of narcissists may not even recognize that they are narcissists. Sometimes we have things that we had to do in our childhoods that put you into almost a survival mode. And I feel like a lot of narcissists are working on survival mode. They had to, be grandiose to get a lot of attention from their parents. They had to, want to stand out to become an individual. And once they got a taste of that, it kind of made them feel like, oh, this is the way that I need to move to get the attention or to feel a certain way. And I think a lot of them work off in survival mode, because just the things that they do, just makes them seem like they're coming from a place of dysfunction, and they don't actually feel safe anywhere that they are. I think they run from a lot of stuff. I think that they, their outer appearance is not what their inner appearance is. They can appear really put together, really well off, really educated, and then sometimes they're just scared. You know what I mean? So and I think that for me, I operate the same way sometimes when I was in situations. But now I think that once I dove deeper into myself and really started putting myself first and not caring whether, people like me or not, I think that removed a lot of the need for other people to show approval. I know deep down that I'm a good guy. I know that when I deal with somebody, I generally make sure that I take care of them even before I take care of myself to an extent. And I have the best intentions when I am in a relationship to bring me and my partner, into a different lifestyle, but receiving the support you need from a person sometime, will not allow you to get to that point, because people are really having inner turmoils and inner issues. And I think that's just where a lot of narcissism comes from. And that's just my opinion, but I did want to give you guys one video before I leave. And this kind of, you know, is something that I was feeling and something that got me on this as well. So let's do this. We're going to come here and I'm going to play this video.
Narcissists need to look good. Whoever they are surrounding themselves with makes them look good. Unfortunately, if you're their partner, they will appear to be proud of you in public, and then the minute no one's looking, they will make you feel like garbage. And it's this mind game of not letting you get too confident or stable or secure, because then you might leave them. So they have to, then when you get home from any party or engagement, cut you down and make you feel like garbage. Maybe give you the cold shoulder, like you flirted with someone at the party. And everyone else the next morning, oh, he's so adorable. Oh, he loves you so much. You're sitting at home crying in a closet while they are still remembering all of these things that are true about you, but he will never tell you to your face.
So, see, this is kind of the experience that I feel that I have, where I'm with somebody and I can be the best guy in the world, especially in public and stuff like that. But once we get in private, it's almost like day and night type of thing of how they truly feel about you. So, like I said, I think that, you know, dealing with this, and I don't think that sometimes it's intentional, and I don't even know if people really realize that they do this. I think it's just a survival thing that they do to not be hurt, putting up walls and boundaries. So for me, I'm full on hurt. Give me all the hurt that I need up front so I can deal with it and try to work through it. And, you know, even when I move on to my next relationships, I'm never having walls up. I still give the next person the opportunity to fuck it up for themselves, basically. I'm not going to put up a wall because of what someone else did to me or this, that, and the third. As soon as, you know, some people, as soon as they get close to other people, which I was just talking to somebody that they put this wall up as soon as they get close to a person, and they don't want to, you know, get hurt. And I think that life is too short not to get hurt, you know, and to, you know, put in that 10,000 hours, whether it's in, you know, love, work, or anything that you want to truly be successful at. You have to show up for the job and do the job and see how it takes you. See the things that you guys can work through, and not let your inner fears and your past traumas and all of that stuff affect your future. So I'm Balanced. This is the Accountability Lounge. Oh, one more thing. This is what I wanted to say to us being accountable for whatever the narcissist or the bad person in our relationship or whatever did. The only way they can do that stuff to you is if you allow it. You've seen signs, I've seen signs, and there were certain boundaries that need to go up if you want to continue talking to that person. There are certain things and steps that you have to do. So when that relationship is over between you and the narcissist or whoever it is, look at yourself first and really think about the shit that you played into that, because it's not a one-way street. It's not just that person. You had something to do with it as well, whether you let certain things slide, whether you antagonize certain things, because we can get petty and we can say and do things that come out of our mouths as well to make that situation worse. I'm very guilty of that, you know what I mean, in a bunch of my relationships where I would just say shit because I was going to strike back. So once again, you have to take accountability for the things that you do and the shit that you say in those relationships as well. Don't sit back and just think that you were some type of victim. You weren't a victim. You knew it would kind of at some point what was going on, and you either didn't put up a boundary and you did not check yourself and figure out what needed to be done at some point, or you just didn't leave when it was time for you to leave. So once again, I'm Balanced. This is the Accountability Lounge. Yo, check me out on IG, Facebook, and now on TikTok. So I really appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.